Hello from the Womble of Doom, and my space agency, the Wombles of Boom. Why boom, you ask? Well, have you seen Kerbals? Getting accurate, really hyper-accurate rocket burns to try and rendezvous properly, to meet up with other craft, to hit a specific orbit in this case, or to circularize. These are all things where you need to sometimes have quite fine control, and the most fine control that you will need is when it comes to circularizing orbits, say for synchronous orbits, for example. The easiest way to demonstrate that is just to use an orbit. It really shows these techniques quite well. Now the key thing that I find is a problem when doing this stuff is the human factor. You can set a maneuver, it can be perfect, you can get it all spot on, but unless you hit the start button at exactly the right time, and even harder, if you can't hit the end, stop your rocket engine at exactly the right time, you're gonna miss. And when you miss, that's not a big deal, you just keep correcting, but even your corrections, just going with human, start an engine, wait a bit, stop an engine, you're always going to find that that's going to be a challenge. So there's a few other things you can do to help yourself. First thing I'm going to do is obviously set a maneuver. Whoop. Now I like doing this stuff, but it gets you in the ballpark. Normally, whoa, that's quite hard to control. You can control it a lot better than I'm doing. Not bad. But I'm not going to fight with this now and try to get it spot on. I'm going to use the editor. You can also click on the control itself and move it up or down, which is great. That helps you, and you see what's happening to apoapsis, periapsis. Whoa. But that's quite hard to get right. So I'm going to stop there. That's as good as I can get it right now. You can also enter in the meters per second. You could go, hey, I need a little bit more. Let's add maybe another, let's make it 6.9. That's probably a great technique. I don't use it ever. I may start trying to, but I'm not going to demo it here. There's other techniques I really want to show you, but I'd say give it a try. Tap something in there, 6.9 for example. I actually wasn't watching. I don't know if that changed up periapsis much, but you could change it to 7.1, whatever. What I really like doing though is getting in here. Now you can change when you burn. You see periapsis and apoapsis moved and our little circle moved. You can change when you burn. You can obviously add prograde or retrograde, radial, in and out, and your normal and anti-normals. And the nice thing is as well, you can go Papa Bear. Nope, that's going to give us escape. We've added way too much. You can go Baby Bear, tick. Okay, that's going to take us a long time and a lot of clicks. Or you can go Mama Bear, or anywhere in between. And you actually, I know this. We're going to go down there. That's even probably going to be too much. Oh, that's good. But our periapsis is moving a little sooner than I'd like it to, so let's bring that back. Whoa, too far. Too much. Let's Baby Bear this. Little movements. Great, that's a lot better. And we're also quite close, so I'm going to keep Baby Bearing the prograde. I want to just... What do we got here? 84 and 8501. No, too much. But that's fine. For now, that's fine. The next thing is just quickly 0.3 seconds. That's an insane... I'm not going to hit a 0.3 second burn with any sort of accuracy. So, to our next technique. Or rather, this is getting into the actual rocketry techniques besides the whole setting the maneuver nodes thing. Technique number 1. Have a low-powered engine. Okay, obviously it's going to be less accurate if you've got a much higher power engine. Any mistake you make is just going to be magnified because the engine is just booming away. Have a low-powered engine if you can. If you can't, or even if you do have it, you can help yourself by reducing your throttle limit, the thrust limit. If I go to 50, we've got a 0.6 second burn. Still too much. I know for the case of this tutorial, if I make it a 5% strength, I get a 5-second burn. I can control that. I can see it happening. I can predict it. I can handle that. So that is still not going to be perfect, but it's better than nothing. Let's go maneuver, 5 seconds, and burn. I'm also going to turn my throttle down in the last little bit, just to slow it down and give me even greater control. hyperapsis 85, periapsis 84,888. Alright, not terrible, but not ideal. The last thing, 32 seconds away, the last thing we can do, and this is my absolute favorite thing. I can't remember if it was Charlie Pryor or Matt Lown who suggested this in one of their videos, so obviously I'm going to give myself even more fine control. You can just hit shift and wait and then hit control, hit shift and then hit X later, but that has problems with it. I want to go, no, prograde, I want to go more, and I'm going to do that for the first little bit. I'm just going to hit shift, but okay, part of the problem with doing that is that if you start it just a little bit late or you're a little bit slow, you just get it wrong, you get this sort of situation where you're still not quite right. And I might have been lucky, I might have gotten it absolutely perfect, but that's not very likely. So now when we get to periapsis, we want to go retrograde, and this is the last technique. This is the one that I just love. This is the one that, again, I don't know if it was Charlie or Matt who suggested this. We're going to want to drop that by 0.01 meters. If you just go quickly, shift control, which I'm not going to do now, I'm not going to make my life worse than it already is. If you go shift control, there's still that little bit of a moment between shift, hitting control, raising the key, all that sort of thing, it goes wrong. The other thing is that I've found, if you happen to hit control for a tiny bit less than the shift, the throttle doesn't go down as far. So now you're still burning, minutely, but you're still burning, which is terrible. So the technique, the bit that really does make incredibly accurate orbital adjustments possible, is the following. Just hold control down and then tap shift. What it does is you tap shift, and the instant you let it go, the computer already knows you're holding control down and it drops the throttle. And it doesn't stop until the throttle hits 0. While you're holding control down, it keeps going down until it's 0. So you can keep going tap, 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 tap on the shift button until you lose like 1 meter every time. Again, I've got a Terrier set really low. It's 1 meter every time. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 taps to lose a meter. With a more powerful engine, sometimes 1 tap and you're still moving 2 meters and you just can't circularize. I'm normally happy if I get to within 1 meter, but we're going to be a bit difficult and pedantic today. We're going to go for exact. So let's see what this is going to do. We are facing retrograde, right. Okay, you won't hear it, but I'm going to hold control down. And I have not let go. Now we're going to do the tappity tap taps. Boom, 2 taps. I've taken 1 meter off. Awesome. Now I'm just going to go prograde. Actually, retrograde is fine for now. Boy, I hope I get this right. This can be very cool. Right, prograde, we're just about there. 4 seconds, control. And tappity tap tap. There you go, 85,000, 85,000, perfectly circular. And I am not a skilled Kerbal player, I really am not. I am in awe of the Pryors, Manleys, Raise Spaces, Quill 18s, Matt Lowns of the world, Stratton Blitzes and all those guys. They're just ridiculous. But this is just a simple technique anyone can use, and it works like a charm.